Ayanam namaskrityam naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tado jayamudiraye nashtaprayeshu abhadreshu nityam bhagavada sevaya bhagavadi uttama sloke bhaktir bhavadi naishtigim. So we are reading from Srimad Bhagavad Gita, chapter 10, verse number 1. Sri Bhagavan Uvacha. Please repeat after me. Sri Bhagavan Uvacha. Bhuyam evam mahabaho.
Bhuya evam mahabhaho.
Trinu me paramam vachaha.
Shrinu me paramam vacha.
Yatte aham priyamanaya.
Yatte aham priyamanaya.
Vakshayami hidakamyaya.
Vakshayami hitakamaya.
Sri Bhagavan Uvacha.
Shri Bhagavan Vacha.
Bhuya eva mahabaho.
Bhuya eva mahabhaho.
Shrunu me paramam vachaha.
Shrinu me paramam vacha.
Yatte ham priyamanaya.
Yatte aham priyamanaya.
Vakshayami hidakamyaya.
Vakshami hitakamyaya.
Go ahead and recite.
Shri Bhagavan Uvacha.
Sri Bhagavan Uvacha.
Bhuya eva mahabhaho.
Bhuya eva mahabaho.
Shrinu me paramam vacha.
Shrinu me paramam vacha.
Yatte aham priyamanaya.
Yatte aham priyamanaya.
Vakshyami hitakamyaya.
Vakshyami hitakamyaya.
Shri Bhagavan Uvacha.
Sri Bhagavan Uvacha.
Bhuya eva mahabaho.
Bhuya eva mahabaho.
Shrunu me paramam vachaha.
Shrunu me paramam vachaha.
Yatte ham priyamanaya.
Yatte ham priyamanaya.
Vakshami hitakamya.
Vakshyami hitakamyaya. Anybody else? Okay. Anybody else would like to recite? Okay, so we'll go word by word meaning, synonyms. Sri Bhagavan Uvacha.
Shri Bhagavan Uvacha.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead said.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead said.
Bhuyaha.
Bhuyaha.
Again. Eva. Certainly. Mahabaho. O mighty armed. Pranu. Just here. Me. My. Paramam. Supreme. Vajaha. Instruction. Yat. That which. Say. To you. To you. Aham. I. Priyamanaya. Thinking you dear to me. Vakshyami. Say. Hidakamyaya. For your benefit. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Sri Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said.
The Supreme
Personality of Godhead said.
Listen again, O mighty armed Arjuna.
Listen again, O mighty armed
Arjuna.
because you are my dear friend.
Because you are my dear friend.
For your benefit,
For your benefit.
For your benefit,
I shall speak to you further,
I shall speak to you further,
giving knowledge that
giving knowledge that
is better than what I have already explained.
is
better than what I have
what I
already
have already
explained.
explained.
Purport. The word Bhagavan is explained thus by Parashara Muni, one who is full in six opulences, who has full strength, full fame, wealth, knowledge, beauty, and renunciation, is Bhagavan, or the Supreme Personality of Godhead. While Krishna was present on this earth, he displayed all six opulences. Therefore, great sages like Parashara Muni have all accepted Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Now, Krishna is instructing Arjuna in more confidential knowledge of his opulences and his work. Previously, beginning with the 7th chapter, the Lord has already explained his different energies and how they are acting. Now, in this chapter, he explained his specific opulences to Arjuna. In the previous chapter, he has clearly explained his different energies to establish devotion in firm conviction. Again, in this chapter, he tells Arjuna about his manifestations and various opulences. The more one hears about the Supreme God, the more one becomes fixed in devotional services. One should always hear about the Lord in the association of devotees. That will enhance one's devotional service. Discourses in the society of devotees can take place only among those who are really anxious to be in Krishna consciousness. Others cannot take part in such discourses. The Lord clearly tells Arjuna that because Arjuna is very dear to him, for his benefit, such discourses are taking place. Om Jnanatirandasya Jnananjanasalagaya Chakshurunmilidam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stabidam Yena Bhudale Swayam Rupakada Mahyam Dadadi Sapadandigam Vandeham Shri Gurum Shri Udapadagammalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajadam Sahagana Raghunathanidam Dam Sajivam Sadvaidam Savadudam Parijana Sahidam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalidam Shri Vishakhanidamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpade Gopesha Gopika Kanda Radha Kanda Namostude Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sude Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpadarubhasya Kripa Sindhubhya Evaja Padidanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktum Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinamadidastu Ma Vidushravahai Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat. Hare Krishna, dear devotees, thank you so much for joining this wonderful systematic study of Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita is Krishna himself. Krishna is speaking in the Srimad Bhagavatam, second canto, 10th chapter, and also the beginning of, third canto, the beginning of the first chapter itself. It is mentioning that when Sukadeva Goswami explaining to Parishit Maharaj that, and explaining and detailing that Krishna was entering into the house of Pandavas. So Sukadeva Goswami telling to Parishit Maharaj that when Krishna enters into the house of Pandavas, that entire house, the entire palace is become Krishna. Because of Krishna, wherever Krishna is there, Krishna's presence are there, and Krishna's paraphernalia, Krishna's name, where Krishna speak, that's Krishna. Sukadeva Goswami speaking this on the first verse of the third canto of the first chapter. So it's very much, these are the transcendental knowledge that we are acquiring by associating with Krishna. So when we hear Bhagavad Gita, it is from Krishna. We are hearing from Krishna. So we are associating with Krishna. So it's our great fortune. And just by associating with Krishna and what Krishna is revealing, that speech, that's also Krishna. Everything about Krishna is Krishna. Krishna's abode is Krishna. Because of Krishna is absolute. Nothing can be subtract from Krishna, or nothing can add it to Krishna. Krishna speaks, that words is also Krishna. Bhagavatam is Krishna. Bhagavad Gita is Krishna. Devotional service is Krishna. Mahaprasadam is Krishna. That's we chant. Mahaprasade Govinde. Namo Brahmane Vaishnave. Mahaprasad also Krishna. So dear devotee, this is very, very, I don't know, please, can you please put on the mute? I don't know, he's, okay. Okay, so as I was speaking, so Krishna, Bhagavad Gita is Krishna himself. So we have great fortune that Krishna's mercy that we can associate with the Krishna. So we were going through the most confidential knowledge. So one who understands this most confidential knowledge, dear devotees, he is the greatest devotee, he is pure. One who can understand this most confidential knowledge. By understanding this most confidential knowledge, that one can become completely pure. That's the greatness of and hearing from Sri Krishna. So we were going through last, at least for a month or more than a month, we were going through this, the most confidential knowledge, and that Krishna is revealing. And we know that we are going through the middle section of Bhakti Yoga, which is starting from the 7th chapter. 7th chapter to the 12th chapter is known as the Bhakti Yoga, or the devotional services. And we came to this today, that we are beginning of the 10th chapter, which is known as Maha Vibhuti Yoga. Krishna's opulences. Maha Vibhuti Yoga. Krishna's opulences. So Krishna is revealing to Arjuna in this chapter, beginning of this chapter, that's what is we read today, that's the first 2 verses of this chapter. Krishna is revealing that the knowledge which I am revealing to you, Arjuna, which is more confidential than what I have already explained. So then we may think, what is more confidential than this? Dear devotees, it's amazing. It's amazing that hearing that Krishna is revealing to Arjuna is amazing, which will transform us, which will completely transform us just hearing this, what Krishna is speaking, revealing to Arjuna. And Krishna is telling that, oh Arjuna, because you are my dear friend, that's why I'm revealing to you. So dear devotees, it's very clear. And in the Brahma Samhita, Brahma says that, we even by the Vedic knowledge, or by the Vedas, or by scholarly, merits. Hare Krishna. Somebody was speaking. Okay, by the scholarly merit, even nobody can even understand Krishna. But only by my devotees, Advaidam, Achyudam, Anadim, Anandarupam, Adhyam Purana Purusham Nava Yauvanam Cha, Vedesha Durlabham, Adurlabham Atma Bhaktav. Only by my devotees. So here Arjuna is a devotee, Arjuna is a dear friend of Krishna. So because Arjuna is very dear to Krishna, Krishna is revealing this knowledge. So dear devotees, think about this. We are all dear to Krishna. That's why we are here today, or we are here all these years now, that we are coming together and we are hearing from Krishna, as if that Krishna is revealed this to Arjuna, or Arjuna is hearing from Krishna the same way, with that same spirit, with that same knowledge. We are hearing from Krishna, because the Bhagavad Gita is not different than the Krishna. So because of we are dear to Krishna, so it's a great merit. It's a great fortune, our good fortune. So all we need to do is that take that mood that Krishna is revealing this knowledge to us just for our benefit. So Krishna is telling also Arjuna, because of your benefit I am revealing this. Because of your benefit. What is that benefit? That to come out from this what is called empirical or material, or this temporary knowledge, or which doesn't gives us the complete understanding. It's a mundane knowledge. It's not as mundane knowledge. Anything which is separate from Krishna is mundane, that which doesn't help much that we can in long term. So we are all in this material world just thinking about how to live, how to make some bread and butter, right? That's what is our whole life is surrounded by. And then how we can enjoy our senses, how we can enjoy our, everything, how we can self-centric life, which leads us to so many problems in the life. So Krishna is revealing, Arjuna, it's your benefit that I am revealing you. Exactly like to us, dear devotees, that it's our benefit Krishna is revealing to us. So we have to be always careful with that. It's for our benefit that Krishna is revealing this knowledge. So we have to be very attentive, very focused to clear, to understand this knowledge. So we were going through the most confidential knowledge. So I think many of you heard, many of you understood what is that most confidential knowledge, right? Krishna is revealing himself. Krishna is revealing that the knowledge which I am giving to you, Arjuna, which is a king of all the knowledge and which is confidential. Which is confidential means which cannot be revealed to everybody. That's why it is known as confidential. And even if it is revealed to everybody, they cannot even understand. They start to question, how is that possible? I think many times, people ask this question, where is God? So they don't have any kind of information. They don't have any kind of knowledge. Then how do they understand that, there is God? So Srila Prabhupada gave a beautiful example for this. A person who is ignorant of what is gold. So he heard about that there is gold, but he does not know what is gold. So he wanted to buy this gold. So he wanted to buy the gold. He knows that this is good, wonderful, it's very pricey, very, nice. And the gold, and he had a lot of money. But he does not know what is gold. I mean, we know that there are, if you go to recently we had there was a news that there is some islands. The people doesn't have any connection with the other world. They don't know anything about even matchbox. They were looking at it, the matchbox, and seeing that it's something great. When the fire came, when the match light the fire, they thought something which came from the something very special, and they were all. So this is what is, dear devotees, our understanding is all relative, that how much we know, right? So how much we know. When we know more and more, then we can see that there are a lot to learn. There are a lot to learn. So here this person doesn't know anything about gold. So what he did, he thought, let me go on to the store and buy a gold. So what he did, he has a lot of money, and he went to a like a lathe shop. Like he saw that, this metal. So he saw that we sell metals, that all the irons and all those things, but it's not a gold shop. So he went there, and he, asked the shop owner, can I buy the gold? So the shop owner said, and bewildered little, initially, that, who is this guy? That he came to my shop and asking for gold. And he realized that what the condition of this person. He realized that, the shop owner, that this person does not know anything about gold. So he was asking that, can I buy the gold? Yes, this shop owner tried to, make him fool and to cheat him. He said, the shop owner said, yes, you can get the gold. And, he showed the gold. This is gold. How much is the price? So this gold is 5,000 rupees. Okay, so here we go. The gold I bought, and here is the money. And he got a piece of iron in the name of gold. So he was happy. Oh, look at this. This is gold. Wow, what a nice, very thick, very hard, and looks nice. So he completely convinced this is gold. But those who knew that this is not a gold can cheat that person. So this is very important, dear devotees, and this is what is we are into this world. So this is our benefit. This is our benefit Krishna is revealing, so that we know what is what. We know the transcendental knowledge. Otherwise, we'll be cheated in this world in so many ways. And that's what is we are going through every day. Right? So many marketing and so many people come and tell us this is so and so and so and so and so good. This will make you so comfortable in this world. Let's make you from, there are so many cosmetics nowadays. Until that, you will not get aged. You will not even see. You will be always youth and young. And then poor people, they believe into that and they go and buy the things, and then, they are cheated. So this is exactly what is happening in this material world. So Krishna is revealing this pure, transcendental, absolute knowledge for our benefit. All we need to do is actually understand sincerely with the whole heart and accept and adopt it and apply it in our life, so that we can actually develop, we can understand the pure knowledge. So we all know that this, dear devotees, that this world is actually temporary and unreal, right? It's a temporary and unreal. Unreal in the sense that this is temporary, that we all think that this is real. But we know that if it is real, then, how can actually, how can we, why it is not ours, right? We are just holding for some time. We are just holding. We may be a proprietor for some time. Even though we are proprietor, we say, but we are not really the proprietor. We are just, holding for some times whatever we say it's ours, but it's nothing is ours. So Krishna is revealing this most confidential knowledge, dear devotees, that what is our position? Who are we? And what is Krishna's position? Who is Krishna? So it's revealing in this last chapter the most confidential knowledge, right? In this chapter, Krishna is revealing that that's called King of Knowledge and the most confidential. And in that most confidential, Krishna is revealing his supremacy. Krishna says that Mayadhyakshena prayade, Mayadhyakshena prakrite suyade sacharacharam. Under my superintendence, all these worlds are under my superintendence. Suyade sacharacharam. Sachara, moving and non-moving, all this in this world is actually under my superintendence. Hedunanena kaundeya, I am the cause of everything. See, Krishna is revealing, but if we tell this to the non-devotees, they will say, where is the God? How is that? It's exactly like that. So if he can tell that, okay, oh, this is God, he will understand that this is God, right? Like a person went into the, iron shop and to buy a gold. So exactly like that, if somebody says that, okay, oh, this is God, and he will believe that. And if say, oh, this is God, he will believe that. But Krishna is revealing this confidential knowledge, and who is God? Who is the Supreme Personality of Godhead? So here Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, revealing this transcendental knowledge so that it's for our benefit and we can understand who is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So then only that understanding, only that then we can transform ourselves. Then only we can situate ourselves into that spiritual and that Krishna consciousness. That's why Srila Prabhupada brought this topic, that Krishna consciousness. So initially, when Srila Prabhupada wanted to put, the name for ISKCON, right? International Society for Krishna Consciousness. And there was a nice discussion before Srila Prabhupada put this name for this movement. So initially, Srila Prabhupada was discussing with his disciples. So they said, disciples said, Srila Prabhupada, so let's put this name as International Society for God Consciousness. So God is actually, everybody know what is God, but people does not know who is Krishna. So they may not accept this as, a Krishna consciousness. They may bewilder. They may think that what is this? Who is Krishna? Likes that. So Srila Prabhupada said, yes, that is exactly the point. That is exactly the point. God is a general term. And people are so much confused in this world, they don't know who is God. And they don't know exactly what is God. So this is the point. That our scriptures, Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, all these Vedas, everything is proclaiming that the Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead. Because of they are lacking of this knowledge, they are bewildered, they are confused, they are going here and there in all directions, and they are not making any progress in their life. So here Srila Prabhupada is revealed that to the disciples that yes, that is exactly the point. Because of that is the absolute truth. Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead, and that's what is we are all needs to be heard to. That's what is we are all need to be practice for it and understand that who is that Krishna. So here, dear devotees, that's our great fortune that by the acharyas, by the mercy of great personalities like Srila Prabhupada, is given these translations of the Srila Bhagavad Gita to us, and it's translated in 80 plus languages. And we are so fortunate to understand this, that who is the supreme personality of Godhead? That is, the Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead, and Krishna is revealing here. And one should devoid of all the other worships of demigods. Because of demigods are the my creations, and they are part of this material world. But actually, as long as we are part of this material world, then we are not able to attain that spiritual realm. And sometimes people ask, where is God? How is God? And how can I, if God is there, then why I am not seeing the God? So many questions people ask. If the Lord is there, why I am not seeing the Lord? Where is He? Dear devotees, this is very important that to understand this fact. The Supreme Lord is known as Adokshaja. Lord is there. Supreme Lord is there. Everything, that's what is, in order to open our eyes. Premanchana Churida, we have to open our eyes with unalloyed devotion. When we open our eyes with unalloyed devotion, then we can see Krishna. And how do we see Krishna? Then Krishna is also known as Adokshaja. Adokshaja means we have to see Krishna with our spiritual eyes. Krishna is there. Our eyes are completely blinded with these material contaminations, and we always see things as our own. Right? We always see, even if we go and see, we see our own. We don't even see that even others people are all. We are always self-centric. We always see ourselves in everything, and anything we take, and we see ourselves in everything. So we don't see much, and this is why we have to hear. And when we hear, we purify more and more, and then we purify more and more. Our spiritual eyes can see now Krishna. So one time in the Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Maharaj was giving Srimad Bhagavatam class in the morning in the temple. And there were lots of disciples gathered and hearing very attentively, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Maharaj, Bhagavatam class. So then in the temple room, and then all of a sudden the altar is open. And then one devotee was sitting, one disciple was sitting there, and he got up and went into the front of the altar. And he just went there and he opened his eyes, he closed his eyes and prayed for some time, and then he came back and sat in the class. So Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati was noticing and what this disciple is doing. So he went there and he came back. So Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj asked him, so where did you go? So this disciple said, I went for darshan. I went for darshan. So Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj mentioned, yes, you went for darshan, you opened your eyes, you closed your eyes, and a couple of times, and you came back. Here I am teaching you, here I am giving you the techniques of seeing the Supreme Lord. So this is what is, dear devotees, this is what is first we have to hear. Hearing is the first, hearing and chanting. Out of all the 64 limbs of the devotional service, hearing is most important. Unless and until we hear the glories, the transcendental science of the Supreme Lord, we will not understand that what and who is how to see the Lord. So here people ask how to see the Lord. So they don't know. And like a person went into the iron shop to buy a gold. Even if he tell that to that person that the Lord is there, Lord is everywhere, his name is Krishna, he doesn't believe because of he does not know. All right. So he will have a concocted idea. So like that, so when we hear this transcendental knowledge from the Supreme Lord, and then we can completely situate, and through this our eyes, that adokshaja means our spiritual eyes, so our spiritual eyes can be cleared, and then we can see the Supreme Lord. So we can understand completely this transcendental knowledge, and this knowledge is absolute. That Sri Krishna says that this Raja Vidya Raja Guhyam, this is the supreme, the king of all the knowledge, and this most confidential Raja Guhyam, this is the most confidential. So one has to understand this. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, it is mentioned that one who knows this transcendental knowledge, then there is nothing beyond that. There is no other further knowledge to know. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, it is mentioned that if once we know about this transcendental knowledge about the Supreme Personality of Godhead Sri Krishna, then there is no other knowledge beyond that. So it's a very wonderful to understand this, dear devotees. So that's what it is in the in this ninth chapter, the most confidential knowledge that Krishna is revealing, and Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and Krishna says that, right? That even if that we go through the so much of empirical knowledge or the books and the scholarly and the mundane way, that nobody can understand Krishna in such way. And only by the unalloyed devotion. And Krishna said that how we can have that unalloyed devotion, that it is that the love, the loving devotion that Krishna is supreme, Krishna is complete, Krishna is Bhagavan. Bhagavan means, the Bhag means opulences. That one who possesses the opulences, and Sri Parashara Muni reveals that and mentions that one who has the opulences, that 6 opulences, he is known as Bhagavan. But we can see that there are so many so-called Bhagavans. But original Bhagavan, the Krishna, one who has the 6 opulences, is known as Bhagavan. And that's what Srila Prabhupada is revealing into the purport of this first verse of 10th chapter. What are that 6 opulences? The 6 opulences is the strength. Krishna, when Krishna was here on this planet, Krishna, there is nobody that, strengther than the Krishna. Nobody can defeat Krishna. He has strength, so he is the supreme. Because of only supreme can have the most strength, and that's called the strength. Nobody can surpass then the strength of the Krishna. Krishna is the full. And there is a nice pastime, nice story happened, before. Somebody asked Srila Prabhupada, Krishna is so much, he is so powerful. He is so powerful that can he create that anything that which he cannot lift, and then which he cannot lift, and if he cannot lift means he's not powerful. And Srila Prabhupada said that, yes, Krishna can do that. Krishna can create anything which he cannot lift. And Srila Prabhupada said, Krishna is absolute, Krishna is complete. So there is nothing that Krishna, can't do. So Krishna is completely powerful. And then the another opulences of the Krishna is actually the fame. Krishna is more famous than, there is nobody more famous than Krishna. Then beauty. Krishna means all attractive. The literal meaning of Krishna means all attractive. So there is nothing that, in this world that which is more attractive than Krishna. Krishna attracts everybody. Even atheist sees the Krishna, he will, become Krishna. And there was lots of stories like that. Even the atheist, just by seeing the Krishna, the beauty of Krishna, they became the devotees of the Krishna. So he is all attractive. And this is the another opulences of Krishna. And then he has knowledge. And who can tell this knowledge? And if there is anybody else than Krishna that to reveal such a knowledge to us, and the whole world is actually accepting this Bhagavad Gita. Whole world. And if one who touches with this Bhagavad Gita, they understand that what is this knowledge. It's revealing such a transcendental knowledge. And who is there beyond that the knowledge than Krishna? So Krishna is the topmost of all he is absolute knowledge, and even knowledge comes from him. Krishna says that, right? Even in the later verses, in the 4th and the 5th verse of this 10th chapter, Krishna reveals that I am the knowledge. That knowledge even comes from Krishna. And what is the meaning of Sat Chit Anand? Chit means full of knowledge. Krishna is full of knowledge. And that's what is Krishna, Sat, Chit and Anand. So the knowledge and renunciation. Renunciation means tyaga. Even though Krishna has everything, Krishna is the complete, he has everything, but he is aloof from everything. Who can do that in this world? Who can do that? Suppose you are a billionaire, and then you are so much attached to that, and he cannot renounce that he's all billionaire, and he is, even though he says that I'm so much, but he cannot renounce it. Even though Krishna possesses, Krishna wants everything in this world, in this all creations, and it's all because of Krishna. He's the proprietor of everything. But Krishna is completely aloof from it. That's why Krishna says that everything is in me, but I am not in them. Because of this nature, these characteristics of Krishna, Krishna is always Tyaga, his renunciation is there. So strength, fame, beauty, richness, knowledge, and renunciation. These are the 6 opulences of Krishna. These are the 6 opulences of Krishna. And he is known as Bhagavan. Such Krishna is known as Bhagavan. So that Bhagavan, that Supreme Personality of Godhead, telling us that, okay, please, engage even a little water, a little fruit, a little leaf, and then if you offer with me love, then I will accept it. And Krishna is telling to a confidential secret, that how we can please Krishna. So how one can engage into that devotional service, so that the Supreme Personality of Godhead always ready to receive this service from his dear devotees. So dear devotees, this is the simple thing. This is not so complicated. So devotional service is the only activity which can eternally tie up with Krishna. Devotional service is the only activity which can purify ourselves from this world. Devotional service is the only activity that we can liberate from this conditioning of this material world. Devotional service is the only service that we can relate, or yoga, the connect with Krishna. So this is our ultimate reality. And this is the reality that, when we come to our spiritual platform or spiritual realm. So I was giving these questions of, people ask this, where is God, and how we can see the Lord? So Krishna is revealing this confidential knowledge, that how we can see the Lord, that we engage in his loving devotional service, and there is no other. That's why Krishna is revealing into the 22nd chapter of this 9th chapter that Ananyas Chindayando Mam, one who has the exclusive devotion, one who has the exclusive devotion to the Supreme Lord, I would protect them what they have, and I would reward them what they lack. Krishna is there ready to take care of that devotee. And one who has exclusive devotion, dear devotees, think about that. This entire cosmic creation is actually under his superintendence, and everything comes from him. Ishvara Parama Krishna Sachidananda Vigraha, Anadir Adir Govinda Sarva Karana Karana, everything manifests from him. Everything manifests from him. So we have to seek that Krishna. And how we can see Krishna? By our loving devotional service. When we engage into the loving devotional service, into the Supreme Personality of Godhead, then we can see Krishna. Krishna's pastimes we can see. We can enter into the dham of the Krishna. Sometimes there was one guru, he was saying that, one has to die in order to get liberation. One has to die. But, when I hear this one, but that doesn't match with our scriptures. One can liberate. One who engages into the loving devotional service of Krishna is already liberated. Is already liberated. So what is actually liberation means? Liberation means come out from our material contamination. And only way that we can come out from our material contamination means that we engage our senses and the mind and the body for the service of the Lord. When we engage our mind, senses, and the body for the service of the Lord in the loving relationship with the Lord, then we are liberated already. So this is actually the transcendental or spiritual science. So then what are the other gurus and all saying about it? You have to die, then only you can go to heaven. Then you have to die, then only you get liberation. But one who engages into the loving devotional service, Krishna is revealing that you are already liberated. Bhakti and mukti is a subservient of a devotee. So dear devotees, this is the greatness of the transcendental loving service. And that knowledge Krishna is revealing, one should worship me with exclusive devotion. And what is the essence of the 9th chapter Krishna was revealing, and the last verse of it? Manmana mahubhakto madhyajimam namaskuru mame vashisyuktavam atmana matparayanam. Krishna is revealing that, right? Worship me, offer your homage unto me, right? And worship me with love. Manmanama, meditate on me, worship me, offer your homage unto me. Thus you will come to me because of you are my dear devotee. You will definitely come to me. So Krishna is revealing this most confidential knowledge, dear devotees, that how we can come out from this material contamination and material clutches and material bondage. And in the previous verses and the previous chapter, Krishna is revealing this one. We are all bound by this material energy. There is no way that we can come out of it. Because of it, Devi Yesha Gunamai Mamaya Durada. This is also consists of my energy. Only by Mam Evaye Prabadhyande Mayam Evam Tarandide. Only one who approaches me. Mam Evaye Prabadhyande. Only one who take devotional service, only one who takes shelter of me, that he can come out of it. And such devotees are under my protection. Mahatmanamstu Mam Bharta Devim Prakriti Masrataha. This is all revealing in this, the most confidential knowledge. So this is the most confidential knowledge. So now Krishna is coming to the, we are coming to this 10th chapter, and it says that the opulences of the absolute and the most confidential knowledge. Krishna is hearing that I am giving further the knowledge that is better than what I have already explained. And in this chapter, in this 10th chapter, is Krishna is revealing that the Chaturshloki Bhagavatam, Chaturshloki Bhagavad Gita. So like that, there are 4 root verses, original verses, that Krishna is revealing to Brahma. Answer to the questions of Brahma, Krishna revealed everything in 4 verses. That is Chaturshloki Srimad Bhagavatam. And also from the 8th verse to the 11th verse, we can see in this chapter is the Chaturshloki Bhagavad Gita. And this is most confidential, these 4 verses. And one who meditate, one who understand clearly these 4 verses of Bhagavad Gita, he can easily and apply it in his life, and he can enter, he can completely transform himself and engage into the loving devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And here in this first verse also, Krishna is revealing that, we have to hear, and Srila Prabhupada also mentioning the purport that, we have to hear more and more about Krishna. So Krishna is revealing that transcendental knowledge to Arjuna. So Arjuna is hearing more and more about the transcendental knowledge. So we have to be enthusiastically hear this. So that's why Srila Rupa Goswami said we should have utsaha, and we have nishya and dhairya. We have to have enthusiasm to hear and understand the transcendental knowledge, transcendental subject matter. Dear devotees, this is the most confidential knowledge about the Supreme. And with that knowledge, we all can cut the bondage of this material world. That's what Krishna says in the 15th chapter. By weapons of knowledge, right? We have to detachment. We have to have the detachment, and by the weapons of knowledge, we have to cut the bondage from this material world. So then only we can completely engage, completely see the Supreme Lord. We can see Him. He is there. He is the eternal. He is there. And He is the Supreme. And He is also very dear to His devotees. And He personally come to receive the service from the devotees. And devotees, there are so many examples out there. Madhavendra Puri, the Gopal was personally coming to Madhavendra Puri and telling that I am so hot, I need to cool down, and please, put chandan. And that same, Kirchur Gopal and give the, getting that paisam for Madhavendra Puri and collecting and keeping aside and hiding that paisam, the kheer, just to give to Madhavendra Puri. So, there are so many examples when devotees come to that platform, hearing and engaging loving devotional service. Krishna would come personally to receive that service, and then Krishna would be always, dear to that devotees. This is the most confidential knowledge. And then we can see that in this chapter also that, how we can see Krishna in so many ways. Sometimes people ask this question, how can I see the Lord? So Krishna is revealing that answer in this chapter. That's the opulences of the absolute that we can see in this chapter. So I think it's 8 o'clock, and I would stop here with, discussions. And thank you so much for, being there. And It's very nice to be with the devotees, as Srila Prabhupada mentioned in the purport. We should hear and we should engage in the devotional service in the association of devotees. That gives more benefit and that will be more effective. So thank you so much with this note. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Are there any questions?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, very
Hare
nicely said. Yeah. This is Raja Vidya.
Raja Vidya.
Raja Vidya, and we knowing Bhagavad Gita in a true sense, we don't need any other knowledge also. Right? Yeah, it's the king of the knowledge. Bhagavad Gita. Okay. Thank you, Prabhuji, for saying nicely. Doing devotional service to Krishna is the ultimate thing. And as you mentioned, like as Krishna also mentioned, like whatever we lack, if we sincerely do devotional service to Krishna and take the shelter of Krishna, Krishna will take care. We don't need to, like this example, right? We give water to the root of the plant. That will give nourishment to all the branches and leaves. So even though if I am missing some of my duties due to my weaknesses or anything, I just need to focus on Krishna, service to Krishna, devotional service.
Yes.
That will automatically, Krishna will take care where I am lacking.
Exactly.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
So he'll always protect such a Krishna. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, in one of the purport, what all we need to do is actually fold our hands. Vishwanath Chakravarti says, that's all we can do. Fold our hands and sincerely surrender unto Him. Because of everything is Krishna's, arrangement, Krishna's mercy. He is the one who is, gives us everything. So He is the supreme, and He is the supreme. That's what is revealing to us, and that supreme Lord Krishna. And if people are not understanding these factors, and they're going here and there, and they're fighting each other, and there are more people killed in the religious wars than anything else. Not even in the other wars, but religious wars in the history. So this is because of lack of understanding. So that's why it's more confidential and most confidential. That supreme, the Krishna, is creator of everything. Sometimes we ask, where is God? Then we ask ourselves, who am I? So this gives the answer. We are existing in this world. Where did we come from? We have a life. So life always comes from life. Srila Prabhupada says life comes from the life. So Krishna is definitely out there, right there, but we are completely in the material contaminated. And contamination is actually covered our eyes. We don't see it. That's why we have to purify our all aspects of life has to change in the sense. We have to see everywhere in Krishna. And to see everything in Krishna, because of everything is His. Right? Krishna says that, reveals into this 10th chapter when we see that I am the Adityas. Among the Adityas, I am the sun. I am the Surya. And among the Adityas, among the Indra, I am the Indra. I am the Shiva. I am the Lord Shiva. I am Brahma. I am the Samaveda. I am Uchasraiva. I am the banyan tree. I am this. This we can see in this chapter, 10th chapter. So when we purify ourselves, we see Krishna, then, with our love, then we develop the loving devotion for the Supreme. Then that Supreme actually reveals to us, and we can see Krishna in face to face, like Brahma, how Brahma saw Krishna. Krishna came and shook hands with the Brahma. And sometimes we say, oh, where is Brahma? This is all Brahma. When some people confuse, oh, there is no Brahma, but it is a Brahman. But that's all, kind of this all mental concoctions. It's like a person went into the iron shop, right? It's exactly like that. So we have to understand. We have to understand from the higher authority. That's called, the avarohana, the knowledge which comes from the superior authority. Otherwise, we will be speculating in this entire life, and we will not come and reach to the conclusion. That's what these people and the scientific empiric philosophers, they do in this world. They are, keep meditating, keep thinking, why it is like this, why it is like that, why this world came from, and they are doing so much of research and thousands of billions of dollars spending for it. But here the authority, which, Srila Prabhupada gives an example, that only the mother can say who is the father of the child, and ultimately and authentically. Nobody else can say. So likes that, only that those who have seen the truth, Krishna say, reveal that, right? Tadvidi pranipadena pariprashnena sevaya upadeshyandye jnanam jnaninas tattvadarshinaha. Those who are the seers of the truth, they have already seen. So those who are already seen, they can reveal to this to us. Like, Srila Vyasadeva is revealing and, compiled this Srimad Bhagavad Gita and gave to us. He's a literal incarnation of the Supreme Lord. Sukadev Goswami revealed the Srimad Bhagavatam. Srila Vyasadeva compiled that. Those who have seen the sages also have seen the truth, and this is the higher authority. And we know that Krishna revealed this to Arjuna. This is the higher authority and Supreme Lord himself. So what else we need? So all we need to, dear devotees, understand this and take this in our life, and engaging with the loving devotional service with this understanding. With this understanding, Supreme Lord, oh Lord, you are a better thing. And please engage me in your service. As Vishnu Chakravarti says, all we can say is, fold our hands and take the shelter of the Supreme. That's all we need to do, that we can do. Then rest Krishna will take care of it. All we need our sincere intention and desire to serve Krishna sincerely and purely. Yeah, thank you, Ajay Prabhu. That such a wonderful realization. That's very good. Anything else? Anybody else has anything to add? Any questions?
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Dandavat pranam. All Krishna.
Prabhuji, I have one question not relating to this, Prabhuji.
Sure.
My question is, I had been hearing in the lectures that, we were all envious of Lord Krishna, and that's the reason we came back in this material world.
Yes.
Right? So when we are envious with Lord Krishna, there's the reason we came back to this material world. Where were we actually that we came back here? Means there are so many shlokas which says that if you remember me, if you worship me, you will come back to Goloka and you will never return back.
Yes.
So where were we that we came back? Were we I'm confused with this statement.
Yeah, good point. Actually, so Puneet Prabhu also asked the same question. Okay. I think in one of the class, what is, where were we and why did we come down, and what is the guarantee that we go back and we don't come back again in this world, and, where did we come from, all those wonderful questions, yes. And this also question asked to Srila Prabhupada as well, that where did we come from? So that's why, dear devotees, especially Prabhuji, that we need to understand our position is we are Tadastha Shakti. We are called marginal potencies. Marginal potency, Krishna Srila Prabhupada says that is a superior energy. We are the part and parcel of the Supreme, but our position is marginal. Marginal means, yes, initially we are into the spiritual world, not necessarily with that we are very close with the Krishna, right? So we've been created, we have been manifested in the spiritual world as, of course, we are part and parcel, eternally exist because of spirit is eternal. Spiritual form is eternal because there is no beginning or it's eternal, it's always exist. So we are also always exist with Krishna, but not necessarily that we are very close and associating and serving Krishna in the beginning itself. But we are also part and parcel of Krishna. But we have that opportunity. We are called marginal potency or Tadastha Shakti. That's why we are all called Tadastha Shakti. Means we have a choice. We have an option whether to be with Krishna or to be with the material world. So we have been there created. We have this option or called free will. With that free will, and that we have that developed that kind of ego that is called, that I also should enjoy. I am not part of it. So actually we are part of Krishna. Then that ego developed, and with that ego, then we came to the conclusion that I also want to enjoy myself. So that's called. So when we think that we want to enjoy myself separate from Krishna, that's why this material world is even created for it. So then actually we are all came down into this material world. And then what happens then further, like, a person, a child, like it says that, if a cat fall down into a hot water, then this cat never get into it, and he will always have that fear and afraid of it. Even if he see a water, he'll always remember that, I have, this is the consequences of if I put to hold again. Even if he's a cold water, he has that kind of tendency that, stay away from it. So like that, this material world is created to give us that kind of understanding and realization that this material world is, and if I do anything that which I do myself separate from the Lord, and I have to suffer that, I have to go through the consequences, and of that my separate identity or separate entity that I am thinking of. But even though, like a child goes away from the father, when a child thinks that, okay, I can do myself, I don't need a father, I can do myself anything I want. So he goes away and he tries to see everything his own way, and he realizes and he experiences what is the bitterness of this life. And that time he realizes and think that, okay, when I am with my father, everything was so wonderful. And he comes back, and then he always realized that, okay, if I go away from my father, I have only nothing but is actually suffering. So like that, this material world is generated because of that's my choice. That's the Tadastha Shakti. Then what happens? He goes to this material world and wander into this material world, thrashing and going from one life to another, and one life forms to another life forms, and suffering, birth, death, old age. This is an every lifetime he thinks that, okay, I'm going to enjoy in this world, and has this desire, and I'm going to enjoy. I have to enjoy, like, the supreme. And what is finally getting, right? Srila Prabhupada says that without any, difficult and very, what is called struggling, nobody gets anything in this world. Even if says that one who is in the top and he has to struggle a lot, and that person is struggling only, but nothing struggling is there in this if we try to enjoy ourselves, like a child goes away from the father. So like that, a child touch on a fire and he realized that the consequences of the world. So like that, he realizes and he get the, purified by this, and then he finally come to the understanding that, okay, let me go back to my father. Let me realize this. Let me, Krishna. So this is what is exactly Krishna is also telling that. Yes, you come back to me. This is your original realm. This is your original world. You are part of mine anyway, but you are here in this world because of you have that selfish desire that to enjoy separately from this all what is called constitution, right? There is a spiritual constitution. And then what happens? He goes around all this world and suffer, and finally come to the conclusion is this world is dukhalayam shashvatam. This world is full of desire, material distress, and so we get that experience also that the moment we turn towards Krishna, the moment we engage into the loving devotional service to the Krishna, then we come to that our original natural Krishna consciousness or the happiness or bliss, and then understanding, and then we purify from there. Then what happens? We practice here itself that to serve Krishna, right? Originally it was not there, that direct service to Krishna, but now here hearing Krishna, serving Krishna, then we develop that more and more and more realization and understanding. Yes, this is exactly what it is. If I don't come to the spiritual platform, this material platform is like a big ocean of suffering. But the moment I come out and I get a big relief, and I can focus, I can attentive, and I can serve Krishna, I can serve that supreme and the spiritual reality. And you come to that conclusion of spiritual reality. In that spiritual reality, there are so many people, right, in this world that they come to that, where they were, and they came to the Krishna consciousness. They are so blissful and so, blessed, and in their eternity. So they attain eternity in such a way that then they go back to the Goloka Vrindavan, and then depends on our sincere service or sincere devotion that we developed and the sincere relationship we developed while we are here in this material world. Like somebody may be a friend, some devotees may be considered Krishna as a child, some as a servant, like we are all Gaudiya, we are all considered as a servant of Krishna, and some may be like Madhurya, like conjugal loving relationship. So whatever the devotion and relationship we develop while we are into this world, then we all get transformed to that same service under the Supreme Lord, under the spiritual realm. Then now we are full of conscious. We are full of conscious. We know the consequences. We understand and realize. And then Krishna also said that I would protect what you have. And that's why it's called devotional service is eternal. So Krishna always protect that devotional service and make sure that, he is engaged in my loving service, and Krishna makes sure that he is taking care of that devotee. And Krishna will personally take care of that devotee. When Krishna takes care of that devotee, then there is no chance of them further, going away or fall down. That's why Krishna is promising that. Nattad basedo suryana shashangana pavagha idigatva nanivartande taddhama paramamama. One who reaches my abode will never return back into this material world. That abode is Goloka Vrindavan. Then Krishna says that, Janma karma jame divyam evam yovedi tattvaha tektva deham punarchanma naidi mamedi. So Arjuna, one who reaches my abode will never return back into this material world. There is no, fall down. And Abrahma bhuvanir loke punaravartin Arjuna mamupeti tu kaunteya punarjanmana vidyade. But one who reaches my abode will never return, never take birth again in this material world. So this all gives us that understanding. Yes, we are all Tadastha Shakti, initially marginal potency, but by the loving devotional service, you all can liberate eternally. And that's what is Nitya Siddha, liberate eternally, and then Krishna will take care of rest.
So Prabhuji, were we there part of spiritual world earlier? My question is
Yes.
that.
Yes, we were part of spiritual.
So
they are all originally Krishna conscious entities.
Right, we were there, we came back here, we are going back again. If we are not doing good, again we'll come back. Something like this would happen. Like
no, that's what it is. Krishna, we have to accept that the Krishna's Krishna's what Krishna is telling us, because of we were in the spiritual world, right? Of course, there are so many, even when we can say that, there are so many people even in the Brahma Jyoti, they all can fall down. Brahma Jyoti means it is a kind of spiritual realm. It's an effulgence of the Lord. Then there are Sayujya Mukti, right? One who merges with the Lord. There is Samipya, right? The Mukti, Samipya, that means, Salokya. I mean, the same planet or the planets in the... See, the Vaikuntha Loka is 3/4 of entire Krishna's creation is Vaikuntha. You can imagine that this material, entire Brahmanda, even not Brahmanda, the entire cosmic creation is just 1/4. And you cannot even imagine with your mind how vast it is. Then think about that, how vast the spiritual realm is. And their spiritual realm, there are different planets, different what is called world, like Vaikuntha planets. So there are each Vaikuntha planet, but on the top of all these Vaikuntha planet is the Goloka Vrindavan. That's what it is.
we were not part of Goloka Vrindavan, we were part of
Goloka.
We
are somewhere peripheral. That's a Tadastha, somewhere peripheral to the spiritual realm. And there, and we, so that everything is there, and we just, fall down from there. But now, one who exclusive worship and take shelter of Krishna, then one can reach back to Gola. Krishna will take that Samipya. That's called Samipya, Mukti.
Got it.
We can attain. And there are 5 kinds of Mukti, right? Liberations, right? Salokya, Samipya, Sayujya, then, going back, and then those who have some kind of worship, some kind of things, and they get also liberation, but they go to where in the Brahma Jyoti side, they do not, completely attain Krishna. Some goes back to the body of Mahavishnu, not even Krishna. That's a Sayujya. Some goes back into the world, Sashti, that, he can attain the same form of Krishna, Vishnu, the 400 Vishnu forms. But like a Gopas, like a friend of Krishna, like 200, like exactly like Krishna, this is what it is. So he can attain Krishna, the abode of Goloka Vrindavan, and he will be eternally serving there with the Krishna.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. Yeah. Anything else? Anybody else has anything? Any question? Jai. So Shobhana Madaji says, I love this question. I always wonder why we came here in the first place. Did it convince you, Madaji, this answer, or is still there is some question?
I'm still a little confused. I feel why did we feel that we needed to enjoy the world, because we were already in the bliss, right, with God? Why did we need to come to the earth to separate from him and have fun here. Like, it doesn't make sense to me.
I got the answer. Question, yes. Let me ask you this one. If you take a drop of water of the ocean, it has the same quality of the entire ocean. Do you think that?
Yes.
A drop of ocean water, right?
Yes.
Right, like that. We are all qualitatively same as Krishna. So as a drop, like a droplet of, this entire Krishna. So we also have the same quality. So what is the Krishna's quality? Krishna is independent, isn't it? So we also have that nature, independent nature like Krishna. So we start to act like an independent. So when that is our entire nature, that's what it is. Every living entity is like a kind of acting like an independent. Really, we are not, but because of we have that same quality of Krishna, we also have that nature of independency. So when we have this nature of independency, then we start to act accordingly like an independent. So, okay, let me do this way, let me do that way. Let me try myself. But Krishna wanted actually to give that understanding, that knowledge. Yes, you can separate because of, like, just for an example, like a machine, like an auto car. So there are so many parts of that car. If that parts are not in proper place, in proper position, proper way that to connect together, then it won't work like, like a car, it won't, like that. So yes, Krishna is complete. There is no need of anything that for Krishna. But this is for our benefit, that if you're part of that, then our life will be, very, very, what is called free from all these contaminations. So Krishna knows that anything, that's the nature of the Supreme. Anything separate from Krishna is lower, inferior, or contaminated, that it is called. What is pure? Pure is Krishna, and transcendental nature of Krishna is pure. And then Krishna is actually created all this to be with that purity, with that complete, that original constitution, be with him and be there, so that we will not go through these problems of this inferior energy. But that when a child thinks like that from his father, okay, let me go and do myself my own way. And father knows that what is the consequence of this world and the problems of the world. Don't go alone this way, that you will be getting some problems. If you go blind in the dark, the nature of this inferior nature, this world is darkness actually. So people, anything which you separate from Krishna is darkness. So Krishna says, don't do all these things. So, but we have that independency, and see that, and we come to that, okay, let me go back and let me do myself. I have so much of desire. That's why we have free will. I have so much of desire to do myself. But in order to do that selfish desires, which is separate the desires of Krishna, then spiritual world is not the right place for it. Because the spiritual nature is completely pure and completely bliss and complete thing. When that selfishness comes, that's separate from that Krishna's nature, that that the quality, or in the sense, or which is not fit for the spiritual realm. And then we have all Krishna is, you see, material world is even just a cloud in the spiritual sky. Krishna, everything is spiritual in one sense. This material world is just a cloud in that spiritual sky. So it's like, we say that, some, children, they are so naughty and so troublesome. In the classroom, what teacher does that? He just give you a separate place. Okay, you just go and stand there for some time. So like that. So then we have that independency, and when we have that separate kind of will, the desires and things that which I wanted to do my own, then Krishna is created. Okay, you can be here, and Krishna provides everything, and everything because of Krishna manifest, and he provides everything. So then he goes there and comes down here and things like that, and then he learn a lesson for it and understand, and then he liberate and he goes back in that his spiritual nature. This is because of we are also exactly in the qualitatively we are same as Krishna. That's why we also have that thoughts coming in. It's convinced, Motherji, or still?
So there's so many souls who come to earth, right? They all like together decide to come. Like, how did it all start?
Yes, every individual, right? Krishna says that, right? Natum bhas. No, it says that natum neme janadiba natum. Yeah, it says that in the second chapter, Krishna says that, never there is a time I did not exist, nor you, nor these great kings on this battlefield. What is meaning that everybody exists in all the time, all the souls never dies, it cannot cut into pieces, never dies. His soul is always eternal. This is it since time immemorial, Mataji. This is not that we just started 2 years back or billion years or trillion years. How can we count this one? Actually, when this entire creation started. Where do we can say that when it is started? That's why we say infinite or since time immemorial. So we say that there was nothing, we say trillions of years back. Everything was existing in the same, but only the thing that Krishna, the spiritual realm, everything goes back to Krishna for some time. We learn a lot from the Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam. And even a Brahma's one day is 8.4 billion years. And Brahma's whole life, 100 years of Brahma is 311.040 billion years, 311 trillion. Can you imagine that the time period which is calculated? And can you imagine that this is just a half a nimisha? It is just a half a, seconds, a nimisha of the Mahavishnu. Then think about that, how the time factor into the spiritual realm and all. So this is all relative. And if you just think like that way, yes, this is all, everybody comes together in this world, or no, this is due course of time since time immemorial. And some point of time there are no living, and there may not be any human in this world. Some point of time there may not be any living entities in this world. Some point of time, everything is, even there won't be any planets in this world, no stars. Everything goes back to Krishna. Then everything comes back again from Krishna. Krishna is eternal. Living entities are also eternal in the spiritual, spiritual potency. And they also always existing with the Krishna. But this is a temporary arrangement. So depends on that, the living entities, once they are there and they all came back into this material world, they are wandering from billions of years. And then what happens when the day ends? That's called Kalpa, 1000 Yuga cycle. 8.4 billion years, once it's over, and then all these souls, all these living entities goes back to the body of Mahavishnu. Then another Kalpa comes, then again everybody comes back into this material world, depends upon where they were ended in the last lifetime. So this was going through so many billions of years, who knows, trillions of years. Then only that once we get human birth is very rare. And out of many millions of that human birth, once we gets in this lifetime only, that we can have this opportunity to realize that who is supreme, how we all came exist, how we exist in this world, what are the ways that we can liberate, we can come out from this material bondage and clutches, and here we are suffering and birth, death, old age and diseases, and then this come out of it, and how we can purify ourselves and come to that spiritual identity, that we are also part of that supreme. As I am belongs to that supreme. My original nature is Satchit Ananda. I am eternal. Chit, full of knowledge and potency, and Ananda, I am blissful. And that's our original nature. That's the original nature of the spirit soul or spiritual entities in the spiritual realm. Yes, since time immemorial, it is there. And it's not that we all came once, or everybody together in this world. And living entities, they are, even an ant, the soul is same, but it's got a body in different. So we are getting a body in various forms, and because of our consciousness. That's why Krishna says, Andakale Chamame was Paran Mukta Kalevaram, and whatever the consciousness we have at the time of death, we will attain that. And this is the laws of material nature. And everywhere there is a law. This is the laws of material nature. Once we have in this material world, it depends on our consciousness, and then we are, because that's our ego, that's the consciousness that we desire, we have that to enjoy in this world. So we develop that consciousness, and that consciousness decides that to what is the form to the next lifetime. So then we get like that, and then we wander in this world, and we stuck here in this world. But finally, we have an opportunity to understand this, our original identity, that we are spirit soul, we are eternally part and parcel of that supreme. And we develop that, and that consciousness, and then we purify, and then we completely transform ourselves to that spiritual, identity. And then we transform and transport to that spiritual realm with Krishna. And there we have full conscious that, I'm eternally a servant of Krishna. I'm eternally associated with Krishna. I'm eternally part and parcel of Krishna. But initially what happens because of this, that I need to enjoy, I need to, load it over this all. That's why we come here in this world and say, I am Lord. I am also God. I am Lord. I can enjoy whatever I want. So this is all the ego. That's a false ego. It's called ahangar. Ahangar means aham means I. I. So we are originally actually not, in a real sense, we are not I part of it. We are part of Krishna. That's why it's in the Chaitanya Charitamrita says that Jivera Swarupa Hoy, Krishnera Nityadas. Our original identity, Jivera Swarupa. What is our own group? Our original identity is nothing but Jivera Swarupa Hoy, Krishnera Nityadas, which we are part of Krishna. Yes, so some point of time we all fall down here in this world, Mataji.
Thank you very much. Thank you for explaining in detail.
Okay, thank you, Mataji. Yes, please join every day. So this is a wonderful transcendental knowledge. This gives all benefit, even materially, which gives the benefit. Nothing is losing here, understanding this transcendental subject matter. And all we need to do is actually, if we take one step, Krishna takes 100 steps. That's a fact. If you take one step, Krishna takes 100 steps. There are so many things to speak. Like there are so many examples, so many scriptural references how people are actually liberating and how attain Krishna and how they reach back to the Golok Vrindavan, and it's all out there. There are so many scriptures. There is a book called Brihat Bhagavatamrita, Srila Sanatana Goswami. It's a very detailed. It's like, we can see that, it's not Srila Sanatana Goswami, these great acharyas, they are not ordinary and in this world. They are all spiritual entities. They originally come from the spiritual world. And they are all eternal associates of the Krishna. And they came here just for our benefit, in order to give this transcendental knowledge to us. And what we need to do is actually, we have to take it in our heart. And we have to apply it in our life and then practice it. And understanding this, the Supreme Lord is right there, and He is everywhere, and He is there, and He is also there in the form of deity and the temple and the devotees and the worship, and also so many ways Krishna is there. And Krishna says that I am not Naham Tishtandi Vaikunde. Krishna says that I am not seated in Vaikunta, but I am seated in devotee's heart. Wherever devotees are there, I am there. So this is a big transcendental subject matter. This is a great transcendental subject matter. And this gives us that such a transcendental realization. And to understand that further and further who is Krishna. It's very wonderful to understand and know who is Krishna. And thank you for such a wonderful question. And then realization, this way we can understand more that who is Krishna and how Krishna is. And does it make sense, right? When we hear more and more? Isn't it?
Definitely. Definitely. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for such a wonderful question. Okay. Anything else? Anybody? Okay. So if there is no other realizations, anything, then let's conclude today's session. Murdanda Prabhu, anything you would like to add?
So, Prabhuji, that was very nice. Thank you. Actually, I'm preparing for tomorrow morning's class.
Class. Yeah.
Listening to you, I got so many thoughts and ideas. So, thank you.
No problem.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Subal Prabhu, you wanted to say something? Muted.
No problem. I'm good. Thank you. Nice class.
Okay, so we'll conclude then today's session. Thank you so much. Vancha kalpadarupasya. Kripa sindhubhyeva cha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Vishnu Vrinda ki jai. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Ananda Krishna Vrinda ki jai. Hare Premanande Hari Hari.
Hari Bol.
Hari Hari Bol. Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhuji, for the class.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you, everybody.
Thank you.
Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna.